What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Welcome back to our channel. Listen, this is a new segment. Y'all, we have talked so many times about how to find government contracting opportunities. Where do you go to look for different opportunities? So this segment is how to navigate government procurement websites. And I'm so excited to actually be able to have connections with people within this space who can walk you through their platform. Now, this platform, if you listen to the Government Coins podcast, you have definitely heard about OpenGov and you've heard from Thao before. But today, he's going to actually walk us through the OpenGov platform. So as small business owners, how do we sign up? How do we find opportunities? How do we connect with all of the different government agencies, which is really growing, y'all? Like, they getting new agencies every single day. So how to navigate this different platform, how to navigate this platform and find these opportunities so y'all can get some government coins. Okay, so without further ado, Thao,
Hi, Shakia.
how are
So
you?
happy to be here. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Always, you raise the flag, tell me where to be, honey. I'll be there. So
That is true, y'all.
I love you. I love the work that you're doing. And I'm super happy to be here. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm ready to jump in if you are.
Okay, well, when we first got started, just to give y'all a backstory, immediately our conversation started around how do we get more small and minority owned businesses into the space of doing business with government agencies. And mostly because you've heard of the process before, but on that same token, for a really long time, it's been a pay to play situation. You have to sign up for all these different platforms, pay a subscription fee annually, monthly, however it is, and get access to these opportunities, public opportunities. This is public information. It should be FREE, right? Ladies and gentlemen.
What does that spell? Free.
Just
Yeah,
I'm just
it
throwing
should
it
be
out
free.
there. It's public information.
Yeah.
But because agencies are utilizing these different solutions, it makes it harder for smaller businesses to get in. It adds an extra layer of barrier to entry to the space. And I
Mhm.
thought that's what was so cool about, at the time they were Procure Now, but OpenGov. That's
Yeah.
what's so cool about OpenGov, is because they truly want to allow more businesses to be at the table, to have access to these opportunities, and to be able to provide their products and services to an agency. So that does a lot. It eliminates, of course, that barrier to entry on the small business side, but on that government agency side, it increases the number of opportunities that they would receive, or quotes and responses that they would receive. So we wouldn't have that issue. But yeah, so I'm gonna be quiet and I'm gonna see if Ty wants to add anything onto it. You know, I get really passionate about this stuff. But if you wanted to add anything, or we can hop into the demo. What's
I
going on?
mean, yeah, we can talk for a second about this.
Okay.
I obviously agree with you. I started in this world of selling solutions to governments when I was I was 21. And I just celebrated my 47th birthday. So like it's
Woo!
I'm halfway there, y'all. And um and so the being in this business for as long as I have, of like being essentially a contractor or supplier selling services and goods to government for a really long time, I've had and working particularly with local and state government. I've done a little bit of work at the federal level, but working a lot in local state. What I've encountered that Shakia alluded to is that there are, first of all, so many systems out there. There's so many of them. They were built. A lot of them were built in like 1998,
My God.
2000. And I can say that because I was around looking at these sites trying to figure out how to use them back in 2000. And Now I was doing something different back then. I was doing like legislative tracking systems and agenda systems and, and other workflow systems for government. I wasn't at that time wasn't building procurement systems, but because I was a supplier using these systems every day to try to figure out how to like win bid opportunities, I gained a certain how shall I say, angst for how challenging they were, how complicated it was, and then on top of that, it's like, you want to charge me for this? You're like, well, I mean, and I'll say this, and hopefully it'll make a little bit of sense. This was before LinkedIn even existed. Like, this was before, like, so Twitter existed. This was before this is like when the internet was new. That. So yeah, I mean, I can understand how, like, back then, like, somebody might be able to like get a premium for something like that. But here's the problem with this. There's a problem, and the problem is because there's so many of them, and as far as like bid networks, you can include OpenGov Procurement as one of those solutions that does offer a bid network. Now ours is free for suppliers, and we give you access to every one of our customers, so that you can start getting the notifications from these customers right away. I'll show you how to do that today. Yeah, but the other thing that we did is we wanted to make sure that we built something that was agnostic to other systems. And perfect example, GovLiaise.
Yes.
Like GovLiaise, Shakia, you helped show the industry how it is possible for two systems that have different supplier information. We have a set of supplier information in our system. You have a set of supplier information in your system, and our systems talk to each other, and that's okay. That's actually encouraged, right?
Yes.
Like, it's okay. We want our systems to talk to LinkedIn so that you can see, that and it does. Like, you can post our bid opportunities on LinkedIn. You can post your bid opportunities on Twitter. You can post your bid opportunities in other people's bid networks. We remain agnostic to that because we believe that this information should be freely flowing to as many places as possible. Because you mentioned lower the barrier of entry. We want to keep that barrier of entry really low monetarily, and then we want to keep the barrier of entry really low from a usability and equitable experiences perspective as well. And so we're gonna dive into that piece of it today around just like the experience, so that you can see for yourself. I'm going to walk you through how to sign up with a new account in our solution. Hopefully you'll see that it's pretty straightforward, as it should be, because at the end of the day, and our government customers have told us this, just by making the experience more equitable, more intuitive, they're getting more responses from local businesses.
Absolutely.
And isn't that something, right? That, like, just using a different online experience,
who would have thought,
can be the reason why governments are getting more participation from local businesses, because it's not necessarily about blasting it out to as many people as possible. It's about making sure what you blast out to people is easy to read and understand and to ultimately respond to. So we're going to do that today. How's that sound?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right. Okay, great. So let me share my screen. You may have to give me permission to do that.
Oh, let's see. All right, it should be available now.
All righty. Try this. Oops. I don't know if can you hear my snoring dog right now? He is snoring so loud right now.
You know what? My dog was doing that earlier. I don't know. I was laying down and I'm like, who is in here snoring like that? And it's him. So, oh my goodness, it was, yeah. So I
All right,
get it. Trust me.
all right, here we go. So I'm going to share my screen here. Can you see that okay?
Yes, I can.
All right. I'm actually we'll start here. This is just our landing page on our website. If you want to learn a little bit more about OpenGov procurement, you can do that just by going to opengov.com/product/procurement. And there's actually a nice little video that takes you through what this solution is about, who some of our customers are, et cetera. So when you get a moment, please feel free to check that out. Now, I did want to just start off by just giving everybody kind of a tip. It may be obvious, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. If you are, because it's something that I do every day, because I am daily searching for the procurement home pages of government entities. And so one little thing that I do, I was actually doing it this morning. Somebody said, hey, like, can you show me Ocean County, New Jersey's, excuse me, procurement portal? And so I just come on up here in my search bar. I'll type in Ocean County NJ, and then I put the word bids after it. And and you can do that. If I were to type in Santa Monica, California bids, if I were to type in Orange County, Florida bids, if I were to type in Pittsburgh bids, it will bring you to the place where they post bids, no matter what system they're using or what website system they're using. If I come over here and I click on this one, which is the purchasing department, it gives me access to their online portal, which I can click here. And it also, in many cases, they actually have the instructions on their site about how you can register to become to register an account with a product. So for now, I'm just going to click here. And it's going to take you to a page that says OpenGov Procurement at the left-hand corner. It currently has a listing of all the open bids that they have that you see here. So these are the ones that are currently out on the street. And if I wanted to, see a little bit more, these are the ones that are currently in the evaluation stage, or they've currently made an initial award. These are the ones that already have been awarded, et cetera, because it's showing as closed. So, but the ones that we're going to be most interested are those ones that are recently hit the street.
Now, why would I look at all? Like, what would prompt me to want to look at all of them?
Well, governments rebid everything, and so even though this one here for lumber and lumber supplies was due on July 19th. Sorry, you missed the deadline for that one. But guess what? Next year, same thing. Next year, next 2 years, next 3 years, depending on whatever schedule that they're on, they will rebid this out again. And so it is good, for that reason, just to know the types of things that they bid out. Not every government agency bids the same things out in the same way. That's one of the things I've learned is that, like, if I'm in the Northeast, I might see a little bit more of agencies like Ocean County, New Jersey, where they're bidding out like literally everything: penal institution supplies, heating systems, fuel systems, solar powered message signs. But what's interesting is that you see, common commodities that, let me scroll down, like hammers, drafting supplies, even vehicles.
Yeah.
Vehicles and vehicle parts. That. So let's just do this. So I'm gonna, just so you can kind of see that the experience is similar from one place to another. I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna type in Santa Monica, California bids. So we'll go all the way to the West Coast. And let's take a look at Santa Monica bids. So I won't click on this one because that's just our direct link, but I will take you here, which is their web page. So here's their procurement overview for the city of Santa Monica. And you'll also notice down here that it talks about the fact that they're in partnership with OpenGov Procurement. If I click on City of Santa Monica's procurements, and let's expand this so we can see all the different types of opportunities that they do. You'll notice that, like, of course they're doing procurements, but their procurements tend to, they're for whatever reason, the mode that they're in right now is they're doing a lot of here you've got like Airport Avenue improvement project, pool chemicals and storage tank maintenance. So you see that there's a paving project. There's services. So, and you don't see as much of those like regular office supplies type bids. And that could possibly be just because, and for some people this is a sore topic, and for others it's okay. That's because they might not bid those out directly. They may actually they may use a cooperative agreement or something like that, which again, like, has its pros and cons. As you can see here, like if they so happen to be using cooperative procurements for office supplies, then those procurements aren't showing up on their webpage, and that means that some people might miss out on the opportunity to bid on those. The pro part about them doing it that way and not actually submitting bids on their public website is that it cuts down on the amount of time that they spend. So different topic for another day, cooperative procurements. But it's worthy to just note that, like, when you move from one government agency to the next, the types of projects that they make publicly available they're going to be a little bit different. Like, like if I were to go over to Tampa International Airport, of course, like the type of procurements that they put out using our software are going to be very different. Yeah, like because they're dealing with concession stands too, and and other types of revenue generating type procurements. Something that other agencies wouldn't have to. If I go to a school district, they're going to be selling books. They're going to be wanting to buy books and and bus parts for for school buses and that type of stuff. So it is interesting just to note, and I also note that it is a little regional too. If you're in Florida, the types of things that they do strategic these types of solicitations for tend to be more in the sort of capital planning and and construction and technology software. If you go up more towards the east, you start to see more of these sort of commodities and goods. Now that I'm making a general statement, but it's just something just to note, that just because one agency does a bid for pencils doesn't mean that every agency is going to do a bid for pencils, because they may get their pencils differently. Elsewhere. Yeah. But it is, it's worth noting that, and so that if you're selling a particular service or good, you do a little bit of research on like what those government agencies in your area, whether you see your good or service show up on these types of bid portals, like what I'm showing here today. Because you might strike gold, and
you may not,
and it may be a little bit more challenging, just depending on where you are. All right, so back over to what we were talking about and sort of navigating the OpenGov procurement platform. I'm gonna take a moment and just click on a couple of these projects. I'm actually going to go back over to Ocean County. Give me just a moment here, because they just I love all my customers, but Ocean County just they do a lot of public bidding, and I just think that that's great, because they're really giving their local businesses a lot of opportunities. Yeah, to respond to these bid opportunities. So I mean, let's just take antifreeze oils and lubricants, and let's take a look at that. Something that probably every agency needs, if they have a fleet. And so one thing that you'll notice right away is that I am not signed up yet. I haven't had to log in yet, but I can click on this. I can start to read this solicitation. Here's my notice. Usually this language is language that gets put in the paper or something like that. It's their public notice, where it's required by law. And then underneath that, I might get a little bit of a summary information about what this is for. It's important to know who the primary contact person is, because one of the things you have to really pay attention to is to make sure that you don't talk to other people inside of the government agency. If you're planning on bidding on one of these projects, if I was a company that was selling oils and lubricants, and they have an open bid for oils and lubricants, I'm just going to make sure I'm going to reach out to Jessica Hanold and her phone number and her email. If you do reach out to other people in the government agency and you talk about this bid with them, it could disqualify you. And so it's important to know that, like, you got to direct your communication with this person, and that's just to keep it fair. That's just to make sure everything is super fair. And then it's really important that you pay attention to the timelines that's listed here. This is a really simple timeline: the date that it gets advertised, the date that it's due. Really straightforward. Can't miss that 11 a.m. deadline. It's due, you're in trouble. Let me increase my screen here so you can see that a little better. All right. So, if I, again, I can just click through here. I can read my instructions on how to respond to the bid, what, the rules to pay attention to, etc. It's super straightforward. Again, I'll just bring it up. Haven't logged in yet. Still haven't logged in, but I can read this. I can read this solicitation. Also notice, haven't opened up a PDF document yet. Haven't had to download something, open it up, try to get to whatever page so-and-so to try to figure out what the heck they're trying to, that they want me to bid on. I'm still clicking through an easily navigable web page. Now it's taking me through an example of the things that I'm going to have to respond to. I'm going to have to answer yes or no to certain questions. I'm going to have to fill out certain forms. I'm going to have to answer some yes, no questions, etc. So, the good thing about this is that when you do ultimately, and we will walk through this, when you respond to one of these bids, you're going to know whether you did it right or not. It's going to tell you.
And I feel like that's one of the, from a usability standpoint, like that is one of the greatest outlines and walkthroughs, because usually when you download these PDF packages, you submit your proposal and then you're missing a document and now you're automatically disqualified. So I felt like this was such a great way to add into or add value to like businesses who are running through these processes. I think one of the biggest components is that a lot of times agencies don't realize that these businesses are operational outside of just doing business for them. So the time and everything that goes into it, sometimes things are going to be missed, but y'all set this up to where you can't miss. Like you really can't miss, even with just outlining your pricing. Okay, I'm gonna leave it.
No, thank you. No, I appreciate that. That's exactly what we hear from folks. You can tell right away when a new agency starts to use this technology, and with the exact same listing of suppliers, because they take their list of suppliers, they import it into our software, and then they run the procurement, and all of a sudden there's 2 times more, 3 times more, 4 times more responses than they had before. And it doesn't take long. It doesn't take a lot of scratching of your head to figure out what the difference is. The difference is just this experience that is easier to follow. A lot of times government agents, they get really worked up about like, well, how many people is this going out to? And that, and that's one thing to pay attention to. You want your notifications, but you want the notifications to reach a broad audience. I mean, of course, but then when it reaches them, you want them to be able to actually get it.
Exactly.
And that's the point of this, is that it's very easy to get. So once you're ready, it says here to respond to this project, please click the draft response button above. So, of everything, when you look at on the screen here, like where are your eyes drawn? Like what button is your eye drawn to right now? This is, there's a green button right here that says draft response. Like it, and I make a big deal about it, but that's what we do. We make a big deal about the fact that like we put ourselves in the shoes of the person who's using this, and we say like, what's the most important thing that they'd be interested in doing right now? I want to respond. So I'm going to click that response. And now it's going to ask me, do I want to sign in or sign up? Now, before I do that, I just want, well, let me just click here. I'm going to click sign up. And this is that link that you can hang on to. Procurement.opengov.com/sign up. You can go directly to that link, and it will bring you here. And once you go to that link, then it's going to ask you for your email address. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my email address. By the way, little pro tip. You notice that so my email address is actually thill@opengov.com, but notice I put +GC here. If you're, we use the Google Suite for our email, and if you use the Google Suite, you can actually create an unlimited number of email addresses using this plus and whatever. I learned that early on. And it's been kind of a lifesaver for me, because sometimes you just want to, create a whole bunch of different email addresses, but you don't want a new email address. So this is still going to come to my email address, thill@opengov.com. But all right, so there's my email address that I'm going to use to sign up with a new account. I'm just going to click that sign up button. Oh, what? Already has an account. Let's try that again. Maybe I did that last time.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. So thill@gcoins.opengov.com. All right. So I'm just going to take that, and let me come over here to my, now don't judge.
Don't judge.
My inbox.
This is no judgment zone.
If you see my eyes twitching a little bit here, it's because this inbox.
It's stressing me right now.
So here it is. So you'll notice right away, I got an email address. I got an email to the email that I had put in the sign up page, and it's welcome me to OpenGov Procurement. I can activate my account. So let me go ahead and activate that account. Okay. Super easy. First name. Here, I'll give y'all my real first name.
Oh man.
I'm feeling really special today. All right. Okay. And so first name, last name, company name, phone number, password. All right. Now we do require a 12-character password, because it makes it really hard to
12 characters.
It makes it really hard for somebody to guess 12 characters. That's why we do it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. So I give my password. Notice that I didn't have to put in my social security number. I didn't have to put in my mother's maiden name. I didn't have to drop off like a DNA sample, or whatever. Like sometimes, let me tell you, like the stuff that they ask for just to give you access to those accounts, it's like, why?
Yes. Everything. EIN, business address, home address,
fax number. I had one that require a fax number.
Fax? Why is this still a thing?
Yeah, like it's just like, now the way that our software works is that as you start to engage more with it, it will start to ask you for more information. That like you just want to get your account, not have to pay anything for it, and then and then get to work.
Get to work.
Yeah, I mean, that's like you said, we have a limited amount of time. Let's let's use that time wisely. So I'm going to navigate you through this really quick so you can see what I have access to. Notice in my case here, because I had signed up from this page, it just brought me back to this page, but you don't have to worry about that. Let's just say you had gone to the sign up page directly and you created your account. it's just going to give you access to these tabs here at the top. The really important one to pay attention to is our network tab, because as you can see, that network tab gives you access. Like, again, I just signed up for this. Like, we literally just like email address, first name, last name, company name, phone number, boom, you have access to all of the open bids in the OpenGov Procurement Network free of charge.
Yes.
Now, what you can do here, so, and I know Shaki and I both have a feeling about these commodity codes.
These codes.
These codes, it's what we got.
Yeah,
Didn't make them
you have to
up,
use
but
it.
it's what we got. So let's say, so there are 3 different code systems that are widely prevalent in the United States. One of the most used at the local level is NIGP, the National Institute of Governmental Purchasing. This one, NAICS, is sort of like the North American standard. This one, UNSPSC, is the UN, United Nations standard. And we see them used differently by different agencies. And so we made all 3 available for you to be able to search on. But so let's do this. I'm just going to search for software. Let's see what comes up. And there's a lot of choices here. I will just advise that you'll notice that the ones that have the 00 on the end of it, it's like this one is like 20800 versus 20811. The ones that are like the 3-digit code 208 are kind of the most, or that's more generic. So 208 will cover everything related to like computer software for microcomputer systems. As you notice that if you go down below that, it gets to be a little bit more specific: aviation software, architectural software, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just going to choose this one because it's the high level one that's most generic. Now, you'll notice that in this case, it did bring up, I've got a bid from Orange County, Florida, a bid from Ocean County, New Jersey, Richland School District in South Carolina, City of Tucson, Tampa Airport, Norfolk, Virginia, Sacramento County, California. It's a good example, wide swath of some of our customers. And so from there, this is the hack, is to remember that if you find something that you're interested in, let's say I check out Sacramento County, and I'm looking at this, and like, this may not be exactly what I was looking for a bid from Sacramento County, but if I wanted to actually go to their portal, there's this direct link that's in the upper right hand corner. So I can just go over here if I want to just go directly to their main portal without having to go to their website and search for it. Now I'm at Sacramento County's portal. And if I want to start receiving bid notifications for them, I just click that subscribe button. Now it's going to see what it's doing. It's saying, hey, do you want to fill out the rest of your company profile later?
So you can just prolong this as long as you want until you start to bid on something.
That's correct. That's correct. You just put it off until you're ready. But when you start to bid on something, then it's going to ask you for more information, because at that point, that's when it makes sense, right? Like, go ahead and give me your EIN. Go ahead and upload your W-9. Go ahead and do this. Go ahead and do that. Tell me, give me your demographic information. That's different from you just trying to get access to the bid.
Just trying to get, I just want to look, browse.
I just want to look. And, and it comes from kind of this old technology where like you had to log in order to be able to, for the agency to track how many people are viewing the project. But like, guess what, y'all? It's 2022. You don't have to do that anymore.
Listen,
we can still give them good metrics about who's looking at
what
their
is it?
project.
C+, C#. Let it go. Let it go.
Let it go.
So many new coding languages out here. We have artificial intelligence.
Visual, whatever. You can let all that go. You can let all that go. So funny. All right. So look, I'm subscribed to Sacramento County. Okay, great. Let's come back to the network. Let's just let me do one more so I can kind of show you here. This is a economic development website design. That's a good one. Town of New Milford, Connecticut. Let me just click on that.
New Milford.
And there you go. Oh, look, I got 1 hour to get this bid in.
Oh yeah. You gotta
So
hustle.
if I'm going to do it, I got to hustle. But if I just want to subscribe to you see how I went under the upper right-hand corner,
Yeah.
hit the subscribe button later, and I'm all good. Now, I have just in the time that we spent together, I subscribed to 2 agencies. If I come over here, there they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be getting, I'm going to be getting emails every time where they issue a new opportunity. Now, I might decide that I only want to get new opportunities that match the category codes in my profile.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have the option to do that. It'll quiet down some of those notifications, but honestly, like I kind of like getting all the notifications because it's sort of like a free gift to my friends.
Yes. Okay.
Like that's right. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if I get if I get a bid notification about umbrellas, because I'll just send that over to my friend that sells umbrellas.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like and I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Like I see a bid opportunity that's out there for, a community engagement software or for an agenda management software or for, for property management for a government building here in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like
Let me
I'll
start.
forward that on to my friends,
Mm-hmm.
and like do them a favor. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't take that much time to do that. So that's just my preference. Everybody has their own preference.
Yeah.
And that's why that's why we gave people choice on this. Like I
Uh,
want to be, all new opportunities versus stuff that just matches what I do. Totally up to you. So the thing to remember here is that like as soon as you activate your account, jump over here to the network, start looking through the agencies that we have that these bids are out for. And then you can, between the topics of the different opportunities that are out there and the government agencies themselves, you can decide for yourself which agencies that you want to sign up for.
Absolutely. Now for this page, in the future, will there be some like let's say when you bring on new agencies, do they
Uh-huh.
automatically come through to the network, or do you have to subscribe to them, like all of the newer ones? How does that work?
There's a few different ways. So if you were already on, let's say a new agency comes onto us today,
Mm-hmm.
if you were already on their supplier list before
Mm-hmm.
and they give us that list, then and you have an account with us already, you'll just get an email that says you've been added
Yeah.
because they'll just add you automatically. So if you were already getting notifications in them before, they switch over to OpenGov Procurement, they import your information. There's nothing else for you to do.
Yeah.
It just does it for you automatically. Now we notify our vendor network about new agencies that come online. And that's an opportunity for you to like click that button and to subscribe to them as well. Also, I would very much recommend that you follow us on LinkedIn because
Mm-hmm.
whenever new agencies go live, we'll do an announcement about it, and we'll include a link on social media so that you can just click on that link, go to their website, and subscribe there as well. So there's a number of ways where we notify our existing vendors about new agencies that are coming on.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, that was not necessarily a plug to follow my LinkedIn, but follow my LinkedIn.
Yeah. Follow me on LinkedIn. I
Follow me
see
on
you
Twitter
trying to
and
get your
LinkedIn.
follows up over here.
That's right. That's right. So let's just really quickly, I'll just walk through one of these bids so that you can kind of get a sense for what it's like to respond to one of these bids here. Let's take a look and see what we got here. Employee Recognition Award. That's a pretty good one.
Oh yeah. Cute.
Let's take a armored car service. That sounds really interesting. This is a pretty actually, and this looks like I guess maybe too simple. This maybe it's simple. Let's do it. All right. So I'm going to draft my response. Notice I am already logged in, so that's a good thing. When I decide I'm going to draft my response, I can still wait and say later. I'm going to say later. And so this is actually interesting because you notice that like, since I did not subscribe to the notifications for Greenville County, but I am trying to respond to one of their bids, it's sort of smart enough. It's like, hey, do you want to subscribe to all their other? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
done. So now I'm signed up for 3 agencies. And I have a day and 37 minutes left to respond to this. So you'll notice here now that now it does it. Now it's asking for that other and for some more of that information that's really needed in order for the, in order to be compliant with what the agency wants. So they want my address. I'll get we'll give them the address. And I'll just go ahead and save that. And then it's going to ask me to go to the next step. If there had been changes or amendments, it would require me to read those and acknowledge those. Fortunately, in this case, I know, right? Like, but that's another area that like you can sometimes mess up if you're not careful.
Yes.
Like if you don't sign that addendum notification and include it in the packet, they can disqualify you.
Yes. Yes.
So
yes.
just not possible, with our solution. Even if they come out with an addenda later, guess what?
You get a notification
every single day until the bid is due.
Yeah.
Because and you know why we did that is because I have been personally struck by that before. And so, like I have responded to a bid, I forgot one of the addendum, and I spent weeks on that response, and I got disqualified because I didn't sign one form that says I acknowledged an addendum. And there's nothing that you can do about that. So what I decided to do about it is write software. That's easy to use. All right. So
Fix the problem yourself.
That's right. It's right. I'm just going to do it myself. So see, and this is what we're talking about. It's like, it says, please upload your County of Greenville substitute W-9 form found in the attachment section. So, okay, so it's telling you to go back to the attachment section, find it, upload it. So let's say I did that. I went to it, found it, uploaded it. And when I'm ready, let me just grab a document here and just show you how easy this is. Once you have that form ready, then you literally are just like dragging and dropping the form, and then it says, please upload your pricing. So I'm sure there's probably, in this case, there wasn't a pricing table. They just want you to upload your own pricing sheet. So you would create your pricing sheet, drag it, drop it in. And then in this case, it's asking for just one more piece of information. Please identify an authorized contact. So I would come in here and type, just follow the instructions. And you'll notice that it's giving you these little green check marks along the way as well, which is nice. And then finally, it's saying that I'm missing some information here. This now's the time I'd have to come in and fill in my EIN. So here we go. That's not my EIN, by the way. And I need to fill in this information again, so that they're captured it for the bid, and I'll hit save. Oh,
Dunn's number. Oh no, it's not going along with that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. It has to be 9 digits. All right. So then I'll hit save. There you go. So now I'm all good there. I can go back to where I was before. You'll notice that I've got check marks, check marks, check marks, check marks, and now it's going to allow me to submit my proposal, which I won't do, but because this is a real proposal. But when I hit that submit proposal, I'm going to get an email, and that's going to be your proof that you've submitted the proposal. It's also going to show up. There's going to be a banner that shows up here that says that you've submitted it, the timestamp that you submitted it. Now, up until the day that it's due, I can unsubmit it, make changes, resubmit it. I can make changes to it as much as I want for the next day. But be careful. Make sure that if you do pull it back, make sure you resubmit it. And it will, again, like there will be an email. You'll get an email when you unsubmit it. You'll get another email when you resubmit it. The agency also gets an email letting them know that this is happening as well. And then you're all set. That's it. Now, So we've covered this tab here. We've covered our subscriptions tab. You'll be able to keep up with all of your proposals that you're working on here under proposals. And if you are one of the fortunate souls to get awarded a contract, those will also show up right here as well. Yes, we do have some functionality that will help you if you are awarded a contract. You actually can communicate with the agency through this portal to give them the supplemental additional information that they need in order to get your contract ready. You can actually do it through this, do it through our portal as well. Yeah.
Perfect.
And then just real quick, finally, just here at some point, you're going to want to go and you're going to fill this out. You're going to want to give, upload your logo, make sure that you do have this other information for them. Do take some time to read up on these category codes. It's just important that if you're going to do business with government, Google NIGP codes, Google NAICS codes, Google UNSPSC codes, find out which ones are the right ones for the business that you have, and then feel free to come in and add them in. It's a real benefit to just at least understand what these codes are all about and which ones are the ones that match your business. You also have the opportunity to upload or to let them know whether you are in any one of these historically underutilized business categories. So it is self-reported. So feel free to to give the information that's going to help the government agency know who it is that they're sending these notifications to. And then if you also provide services or products that could be useful in either a health crisis emergency, a natural disaster emergency, or some other kind of emergency, just by clicking those, it will give all of our governments in our network access to your information. If they happen to find themselves in a natural disaster emergency, we want to give them easy access to your information so that they can reach out to you in the event that they need to in a very short amount of time. And then finally, as you are able, upload your W-9, certificate of insurance, any other documents that you feel are relevant. This is just information that's going to be shared with the agencies that you're subscribed to. So you really can't go wrong here. So that's it. Shakia, I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted me to cover.
Yes, there's one more thing, and it's one of my favorite functionalities, and it's as a way to develop partnerships. So when you are looking at, let's do that one. So that way, as a sub in a prime working as a sub under potential prime contractors, I thought that was such a huge feature to add into this platform.
Yeah. All right. So let me back up here to show you exactly how to get to that information. So when you're on the network or you're looking at the portal and you find something that's interesting for you, let's say this is a demolition of office space. So once you're on this main page for the solicitation, you can come over here to followers. And if I wanted to follow this project, I'll go ahead and do that. I can click this button. It's very much like social media. It's like if I want to follow a profile or something, we did that on purpose so that it would feel intuitive. Notice that it's asking me a question as a follower. It's asking me, am I going to be a prime? Am I wanting to be a prime on this, or am I wanting to be a subcontractor on this? Plan rooms are just those folks where they share this information with other contractors in their area. And so for this, I'll just say, I'm interested in being a subcontractor, and then I'll say follow. Okay. So now that I've done that, now if I come over here to followers, this is what Shakia is talking about. How I can just go down the list, and I can see here that, CGI Prime, and this is their information. And if I scroll down here, there might be a sub. Here we go. Summit Environmental, Michael Stroh. There's that they have listed themselves as a subcontractor, and we internally we just affectionately call this like the speed dating tab. So because and this is why we've given this information, like their contact information, their address, so like what city and location that this contractor's in. and their email address, and if they've provided their phone number as well. And you can also, if you want to take this offline so that you can, I don't know, do whatever you want to with
Make
it.
a call
Use it.
list.
That's right. Make a call list. Yeah. You can certainly do that. It'll download it into an Excel or CSV format, and then you can use this here to do whatever you want. Take notes about the calls that you made or whatnot. But we wanted to make that really easy for you to be able to download.
Yeah, I love this feature. I actually had like someone reach out to me from following an opportunity in OpenGov's platform. And I was like, wait, what?
Yes.
Yeah, so they reached out to connect and collab. And I thought it was so dope. So when I went in, I just started going in and following everything.
I love that. I love that. This
yeah,
is look at this one here though. You see how this one has a pre-bid meeting? Sometimes they do. Like sometimes you have pre-proposal meetings, sometimes you have pre-bid meetings. If one of these solicitations that you're responding to has a pre-bid meeting, if you scroll up here to the top, you have the opportunity to RSVP for that meeting, so that you're just letting the agency know that you're planning to attend that. So just by doing that, now they have been notified that I'm going to attend this pre-bid meeting. So there you go. I'm going to remove myself from that.
And all of the tabs at the top, questions and answers, what are the other one? Addendums and notices. You showed us all of that. So it's a really good.
This is how you can ask questions. If you have questions about the solicitation, you can just come in here and ask your question. And you'll notice here how they respond to it here like this. So, and you'll get notifications about it when they respond to it. And then same thing with the changes. If there are changes that need to be made, not only will you have access to see them here, but again, if you go to the process of drafting the response, like I'm doing here, you'll notice in this case, we actually do have 3 addenda. And all I have to do to confirm those is do that. This just gives me the ability to, this is that thing that says, if any more addenda come out later, you're giving us permission to essentially bug you every day until the bid is due. So again, you'll notice that like if you just follow the steps, pay attention to like where we're putting numbered steps, because that's really our way of saying to folks that like you want to start here and work your way down. So that's why we do that. That's why we put those numbered bullet points there in certain locations, even here. So it's like, so that you can see that this is something that you're going to want to pay attention to.
Yeah, I love the system. I love the flow of the design. It's foolproof. Let's put it that way.
We like to call it equity in design.
No, I can be a fool at times. It's foolproof.
But it is definitely foolproof for folks like you and me who
goodness,
who just like I can't, if I see one more page that looks like an old like Access database or something like that, like and we're so good at keeping this technology out there for a real long time.
My goodness.
But we're in this stage,
a real long time.
We are in this age of digital transformation, which is really exciting. And that's why, that's why it is a good time to be doing work with government. It's also just, it's a good time, but it's also an interesting time because while they are getting a lot more funding right now, the governments are being extremely cautious about how to use that funding. So it is if you're looking to get in this business or you're in this business, I think that's the thing to just note, that what's going on right now is that there is a lot of funding that's available, that's being pushed down, from federal down to the local level. But at the same time, just because of the uncertainties of the economy and the market, it just means that they're using processes like this to go out and get the best value for for the different bid opportunities that they have, or the different projects that they're wanting to work on in different communities. I'm glad we've had this conversation, because I think that it is important that folks do get comfortable with government bidding technology, because their governments are using it more and more to make sure that they're spending their taxpayer dollars very cautiously.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on and actually doing this. This was, like I said, just a conversation that people have been asking. How do you find opportunities? How do you do this? How do you do that?
Yeah.
And I said, okay, let's just go ahead and have a conversation about navigating procurement websites. And I had to start with my favorite one. So I will be showing them how to use other systems as well. But I just felt like this was such a great place to start and let people know, like, it doesn't have to be, a cumbersome process. You don't have to, you will, until everyone gets on the same page. Until every government agency is on OpenGov's network, you will unfortunately have to sign up to multiple different systems. But on that same token, take advantage of what's in front of you.
Well, and Shakira, let me say this. I don't know if I've mentioned this on your on a podcast before, or one of our sessions before, but no one has paid me to say this. Let me just put that. Let me just make that sure. No one has paid me to say what I'm about to say. But as a person who understands that there are 30, 40, 50 different quote bid networks that you can register for, that's very painful. Let me just say this. I have, in the 20 some odd years that I have been selling solutions to governments, I have never paid 1 penny for a subscription. Never. And I think I'm doing pretty good. I've never paid a penny for a subscription. Now, here's what I have done. There is a website, and again, nobody's paying me to say this. It's not even my website. It's called RFP Mart, and RFP Mart has a good model. First of all, I know that they pick up our bid subscription, so that makes me feel good. They scrape a lot of these websites, a lot of these bid services, and they don't chart. They do have a model that you can pay for a subscription, but I don't use that. What I do is they allow you to set up your searches for free, and if you see a bid that looks interesting for you and you want more information about that bid, then they do charge $5 for that.
Got it. Okay.
But you see how that's different? Yeah, RFP Mart. You see how that's just a little different than the other things, where it's you pay $25, $30, $40 a month, and maybe you might get something, and maybe you
find something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, remember when I said, well, I may not have said it in this conversation, but I have found a lot of RFPs, and have responded to them and have won them because of that service.
Wow.
And I only had to pay $5 each time that I saw, because they send you a list of them. They don't tell you who the agency is with, but they give you the title, and they give you a little bit of information about what the solicitation is. And you can set up an email subscription so that you're getting notifications about things that come out that are relevant for you. And so when you get those and you see one that's interesting, you can just pay the $5 to get access to the one that's meaningful for you. Now, they have to charge that, because that's the only thing they do. This is literally the only service that they have. They scrape all of these bid networks nationally, and then they make it available to you in this sort of consolidated place.
And international. I see multiple countries on here.
And particularly technology, man, sometimes I'll get notifications that are just pages and pages and pages of website design services, or procurement software, or financial software, ERP software, or whatever. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that, because I don't want to advertise in too much or whatever. But but I just have to be honest. Like, as a scrappy entrepreneurial startup, you got to find things like these little hacks that are going to give you good access to as many of these bid notifications as possible. And this was just one of those hacks, that I found, that is inexpensive, and it works.
That's
and
good.
yeah, and I, maybe I'll get a royalty from them or something.
Don't, hey, maybe. Look, our next video is going to be on RFP Mart. You heard it here first.
Seriously,
So,
do it.
Like, I gotta
Do
play
it.
with
It is
it a
worth
little
it.
bit, but yeah, absolutely. This is, so far I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, this is perfect. You can go ahead and do that. So that'll be our next navigating procurement website.
Notice
But
I didn't say
thank you
too much
so
about
much.
the intuitiveness of the interface, but the content is really good.
The content, for sure.
And the service is actually, I think, pretty good. So
Good.
anyway.
Well, Thao, thank you so much. One, for coming on and definitely doing the demo for us. So necessary. And then two, of course, you just dropped that bomb on us at the end of it. So thank you. So we'll be navigating through RFP Mart as well. So thank
Good
you
idea.
so much.
Yeah, you're welcome, Shakia. Always a pleasure.
Of course.
I send my most positive vibes to you, to your
Thank
family.
you.
And yeah, let me know when you want me back on, and I'll be here.
I'm gonna call again. So
okay.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Later.
Bye.